So, scientifically speaking, we can say that doshas may represent a neuroendocrine immune regulation patterns, and it's not a physical substance, we can say. So, simply that's it. It's a neuroendocrine immune regulation pattern. And that's why classically also when we say about Ayurvedic references, you can see in Charaka Samhita that dosha dhatu mala moolam hi sharira.
Hey there, if you're curious about Ayurveda and want to learn more about balancing your body, mind, and spirit, tune in to Srishti Ayurveda podcast. Join me, Dr. Sri Lakshmi, a confused VAMS graduate, as we dive into the world of Ayurveda, exploring topics like dosha, natural remedies, self care, and so much more. We'll also be busting some common myths about Ayurveda and gaining facts to help you separate truth from fiction. From practical tips to expert insights, Srishti Ayurveda has covered it all. Subscribe now and get ready to nourish your wellness journey. Hello everyone, welcome to Srishti Ayurveda. Today is the third episode and we have none other than Dr. Ankush G with us. He's an MD Ayurvedic Prastavrita, assistant professor and wellness educator dedicated to promoting preventive healthcare through Ayurveda, diet, and lifestyle management. He's actively engages in teaching, research media programs, and public education to bring Ayurveda closer to everyday life. So I think you have become a very familiar face now among our listeners.
Yes,
So I don't think
thank you.
this
And welcome
introduction
once
is
again
new
to
to
all
anyone.
our viewers. Of course, it's a great pleasure to talk about Ayurveda, right? So it's a great thing.
Okay, but first of all, I would like to thank all the audience. We are getting a really good response just for two videos. I mean, I didn't expect such a good response. So this actually creates, shows the value that Ayurveda has in today's world, especially thanks to our Prime Minister and Ayush Ministry. It is really taking the Ayurveda to the next level. So thank you for our audience, and greater thanks goes to Dr. Ankush, sir. He has always been my support, and just give him a call and say, "Sir, I want to do such an episode with you." He's like, "Okay, sure, we'll do it." Zero preparation needed. So thank you so much, sir, for always being there. And so, basis of Ayurveda for any Ayurvedic professional would know this, or a non-Ayurvedic person also knows this. What is whenever we talk about Ayurveda or we talk about how your body should work, everyone says that this will increase vata, this will, very pitta vardaka ahara, or even in our day-to-day language, we use at least in their any local language you take. If it is in Malayalam, they say that, oh, this is a gas or ഭയങ്കരമായിട്ട്. Or they say that, मुझे ना जैसे पित्त बढ़ा हुआ लग रहा है in Hindi. So I think throughout India, this concept is known, but the only problem is that I think the common general public is not able to correlate it properly in a clinical aspect. So just to give them a idea or an essence of what is dosha, we are stepping into today's episode, which is dive into the world of doshas. So this is a very vast subject. As I said, it is the basis of all Ayurvedic principles. So it is won't be it won't suffice in one episode. So we are planning to do it in two episodes. So this particular topic will there be two episodes. What you're watching now is the part one, and there will be a part two which will come in the subsequent weeks.
Yeah.
So, sir, what do you know? Like, how do you explain
Yeah, as
dosha to a
you
common man?
mentioned properly that whenever we say these type of words or these common language, like the common people say that they have gas or whatever thing. But see, what do you mean by dosha? To be very precise, I can say that dosha can be understood as the functional intelligence of the body. Very simple, very simple English. We have to be very precise that it's nothing but it's the functional intelligence of the body. That means, see, just in our homes, how electricity runs, right? It electricity is there and it runs many appliances like that, like fan, heater, bulb. Certain things are there. So these doshas run the body in very different ways. So precisely in Ayurveda, These doshas are basically three. One is Vata, second is Pitta, and third one is Kapha. Vata we can easily tell as it's nothing but it's the way by which the movement, or we can say the communication, whichever way the communication has to be done, that's through Vata. And Pitta, we can say that it's nothing but it's that transformation, or it's the metabolism that creates in our body. We can say like that. And the third one, precisely the Kabha, it's the structure and the stability which is being given to that particular body. So, scientifically speaking, we can say that doshas may represent a neuroendocrine immune regulation patterns, and it's not a physical substance, we can say. So, simply that's it. It's a neuroendocrine immune regulation pattern. And that's why classically also when we say about Ayurvedic references, you can see in Charaka Samhita that dosha dhatu mala moolam hi sharira. That means doshas are the root, or it's the very root regulators of the body. There also Acharya precisely emphasizes at that it's moolam, it's the root. So the regulation pattern of
Mm.
neuroendocrine immune regulation is nothing but the doshas, and it's not at all any physical substance. Make sure that some may have kapha means it's the phlegm that's
Mm.
coming. That's may correlated as kapha. No, it's not like that. So the functional intelligence of the body is dosha. Precisely, we can say like.
Yeah, I think it is not something
No,
that
yeah,
physically
yeah.
you can see or touch. If someone says that you want to touch, you can't touch
Yes, of
Vata, but you
course.
can feel the presence of it.
That's why I correlated with electricity. You can't say electricity, but you will
Mm.
get shocked, right? The same thing.
Yeah, even like wind, what we say, we say that
Exactly.
Vata is like wind because we can't see the wind, but
Of
we can
course.
definitely
The
feel
same
the
thing.
presence. Okay, doctor. So, what do you say? Like, what is the relationship between a dosha and the prakriti of a person? Every person, individual. First of all, I think our audience should be aware that each and every person has a different prakriti. So, how is dosha and the
Yes,
prakriti is
that's a very
related?
good question. We have to be specifically know these two things. So many say that Prakriti when we say it's the environment, because we simply say Prakriti as environment. No, here
Mm,
it's not the thing. Because Ayurveda deals Prakriti in a different perspective, to be very precise. For example, Prakriti
mm,
can be your genotype as well as your constitutional blueprint can be said as your Prakriti. That's it. That's the word
mm,
we can use. That the genetic plus your constitutional blueprint is known as Prakriti. And it is decided at the point of conception. When the gametes meet each
mm,
other, at that point itself, your Prakriti is being determined. And it can be influenced with so many things like parental doshas plays a vital role for that one, or else we can also say the intrauterine
mm,
environment, or else we can also say the season or ritu at the period of conception. So we can say that the genotype
mm,
plus epigenetic programming is known as prakriti. Simply, like scientifically, when we can explain nowadays, that genotype as well as your epigenetic programming is nothing but it can be correlated as the Prakriti. And when you go and read certain journals like Indian Journal of Medical Research in 2015, they have given a beautiful correlation of Prakriti types and gene expression patterns, immune markers, and metabolisms, and so much things. So from that, we can say that the functional force is dosha, and a fixed baseline expression of these doshas can be. So that's the main difference we can
okay,
say. So
understood.
dosha is nothing but it's the functional force, and prakriti it's nothing but it's the fixed baseline expression of those doshas. So that's the very simple way to understand. Actually, this dosha itself can be taken for at least 10 to 15 classes to understand what it is. So, as your question suggests, for a common man, how
Mm,
we can determine, the simple answer is dosha is a functional force, and our prakriti is nothing but it's the fixed baseline expression of our doshas. So I think that will be an explainable thing and understandable way of Prakriti and dosha. And like this, we have to understand also. Okay, great. Okay. Okay. Thank you, doctors. When it comes to our clinical practice, I think Prakriti assessment plays a very important role in deciding the treatment protocols that we're going ahead for the patient. Or in general, if you're looking at one, even a Swastha person, I think from an Ayurvedic perspective, we should be able to differentiate or we should be able to assess the person's Prakriti. Uh, how can one assess his or own her own Prakriti? How do I self assess my Prakriti? See, assessment of these Prakriti is based upon many things like your physical traits, your physiological traits, and your psychological traits, right? So, physical traits like how your body frame is all about, or how your skin is, how your hair is. With the help of those things, we do determine these things. And to be very precise, we can also say that psychological traits like your stress response, your memory power, or how you do express your emotions, all these can be assessed. And moving towards the physiological traits, we can say like how is your sleep, how the hunger is all about, and how your digestion is. So with these simple things itself, we can easily assess our own prakritis. So, going to the deeper concepts, we can say that it is nothing but the genomics. Assessment of these things are nothing but it's the genomics which correlates so much of things. And researchers have also proven that genomics can play a vital role, like your inflammatory markers, your lipid metabolism, or your enzyme activities, and all those things. So, basically speaking, your body, physical, psychological, as well as your physiological aspects are blended together so that you can assess your Prakriti. Second, now Ayush Ministry has provided you one app, Deshka Prakriti Prediction, which was one of the greatest method by which the every individual of our country was assessed and their Prakriti was determined through an application which was being given to the doctors, and they have assessed each and everyone. There you can see whole your body constitution, your psychological attires, your mental attires, and all those things. So through for that, Ayush have and researchers with the help of CCRIs and other bodies which does these research work, they have developed so much of questionnaires that those are readily available. So Prakriti assessment questionnaires are now existing, and with those questionnaires, you yourself can determine your Prakriti to a very good extent. And then go to a Ayurvedic physician and then consult. So that so many changes we can make upon to that one. Because with your Prakriti itself, your diet tricks, your body regimens, your daily activities, your seasonal activities, and all those things can be regulated so much. So these are the basic things that you can use nowadays. With the help of an registered Ayurvedic physician, you can easily find out your progress. Okay. Thank you. Thank you, doctor. So, when we are talking about the Prakriti and the doshas, as you said, the doshas are like the body intelligence. So, are they fixed or like with time? If I was a Vata Prakriti person or anything, can that change over time or are these doshas fixed? Doshas, it changes with your diet, it changes with your age, it changes with your season, it changes with your stress, it changes with your lifestyle. So, for example, I can say that a Pitta Prakriti person may develop some Vata imbalance due to excessive travel or excessive stress. So, see there, the Prakriti is fixed. But the Vikriti can be changed with what I have told you, like your diet, age, and all those. So this can be easily correlated with our modern science also. I may say, like, see, the baseline metabolism always remains the same, right? But the hormones or the inflammatory status fluctuate always. So that thing we have to be taken in care that the baseline metabolism can be equated with your Prakriti, and those inflammations or those hormonal changes or any other changes that can fluctuate can be your dosha. So always
Mm.
be sure that or make people aware that your Prakriti is fixed, but doshas can fluctuate with your dates. That's what we have discussed in the previous podcast also, like our lifestyles, day-to-day activities, seasonal regimens, and all. Even with your
Mm.
age and
Yeah.
psychological aspects also. If you are so desirable with a person and affectionate to a person, of course the dosha plays a crucial role there. And with another person you don't like, then the
Mm.
pitta may rise and it may create problems. And those pitta has so much of differences, like bodily differences may come, that your eyes and your body may get heated up, and your hormones may get changed, psychological things and mental stress will happen. So this is what,
Mm.
but basically what's your prakriti there will not change. So this is what we have to understand, that prakriti will not change, but dosha imbalance can happen.
So, a Prakriti of a person is a fixed entity,
Yes,
like from birth it is decided. But the Vikriti or the dosha imbalances can change according to a lot of
100%,
factors that has
100%.
been taken
That's
into
it.
account. Okay. So, since we were talking about the previous podcast that we've discussed about the lifestyle, how do you say that doshas impact our daily life, like diet, exercise, etc.? Like which dosha affects our, sleep, or which dosha affects our waking up or doing things or digestion? It's mainly pitta. So, can you just give up for like a whole day, or how does
Oh, sure.
doshas impact our daily life?
And simply, I may say that if there is Vata imbalance, we know that there are three doshas, Vata, Pitta, and Kapha. Yes. So if there is any Vata imbalance happens to
Hmm.
your
Hmm.
body, you can easily give any like warm or oily things, right? And advise a gently yoga,
Hmm. Hmm.
so that, or ground them for a gentle exercises and all those things. If you're more prompting them, then it may increase more, and the stress response also increases, like
Hmm.
your anxiety and fear also may increase if the vada increases. The same thing happens when pitta increases. What we have to give as diet is some cooling diets or some non-spicy diets, so that your pitta will remain calm.
Hmm.
And we have to
Hmm.
give or advise them a moderate sort of exercises also, because so much of exhaustion may increase the pitta. So a moderate type of exercise can also be told to those person, and of course that may affect your stress, anger, irritability, and all those things. So when pitta is increased, never
Hmm.
ever have the stress response like anger and irritability doing speak. Always make sure that
Hmm.
you conserve your anger, preserve your anger and irritability, I must say. And the same thing happens if kapha increases. What you have to give? You have to give very light as well as very dry
Hmm.
food items, so that it may get pacified. And
Hmm.
in those particular time when kapha increases, you have to be very sure that intense exercise is being advised to the patient, so that kapha gets
Hmm.
disseminated, or
Yeah.
it gets declined of, we can say. And the lethargy and the attachment always increases when kapha increases. That's the stress response that create to your body. If kapha increases, what happens? Lethargy and attachment increases. If pitta increases, the anger and irritability can increase. And if the vata
Hmm.
is increased, your fear, anxiety, and all those stuffs can go high. But if all these three things
Okay.
increase, or if there are alterations happens, then of course your body responds just like anything. That means you will not get any sleep, you will not have so much of digestion, you will have irritability, and all those mixed stuffs can also be
Hmm. Yeah.
elicited to your body. So you have to, if in such cases, what an Ayurvedic physician does is assessing which dosha is the most predominant one among them, and will treat for that one for the first, then to the next. So simply we can
Hmm.
say, in a treatment perspective, look for the dosha and treat for the dosha. So that's the key of
Hmm.
Ayurveda treatment. Even if you don't know the disease, even if you don't know or you can't understand the name, nothing. Ayurveda says, don't worry. You know which all doshas are there, how it's being affected, how it's getting specified, what are the things you have to do. So what you must do is to look for the dosha and just treat for the dosha. There it will at. That's it. Simple. And one more
Okay.
thing we can add that just some of the studies shows that the pitta types have more sort of metabolic rate. Basal metabolic rate is more for pitta. Those are the studies which the scientific studies shows like that. And when kapha it comes, the insulin resistant tendencies and all those shows to the kapha. And when vata comes, no, like the sympathetic nervous system dominance can be seen. Those studies are being done and it's being recorded also. So pitta means higher basal metabolic rate. Kapha means insulin resistant tendency there, and vata means
Hmm.
the sympathetic nervous system dominance can also be elicited. So, like that, if you know well, so that we can understand how these doshas impacts your life, whether it's diet, whether it's exercise, whether it is your stress level, whatever thing it is. So, see how well the blending of modern system also can be done towards Ayurveda.
Hmm. Okay. Okay. Thank you, doctor. So, when we
Mhm.
were talking about doshas, in like some time ago, you were saying that it just how it affects our mind. According to you, like dosha is not only somatic; it is also psychosomatic. So, it can affect our moods, or it can affect the way we think or the way we, respond. Like, how do we expand this, or how do we explain this? How does dosha is associated with our emotions? What is the
See,
psychosomatic aspect of
dosha is
dosha?
both somatic and psychosomatic. It's not somatic and it's not psychosomatic. It's both psychosomatic as well as somatic. And it's been clearly explained. That's why I told that Vata, which have clear-cut relation with fear and anxiety. So see somatic aspect and the psychosomatic aspect. The Pitta, which
Hmm.
have direct affection with anger and your frustration level. And Kapha, with our attachment and also the depression. So here itself, we can say that
Yeah.
dosha operates on the basis of a body mind continuum, not separate it is. It's a continuum through by which your
Not
body as well as
separated.
your
Yes.
mind is blended together. Or without body or without mind continuum, it can't work. So it's a total blending operation of both these things. So see the modern aspect. What really happens is your mind body axis is there, like your HPA axis or your gut brain axis, and also with the emotional aspects, also like the cytokines or the cortisol or the digestion perspectives. So always remember when we say about dosha, it is both somatic as well as psychosomatic, so that it operates on a simple basis of mind body continuum. This is a basic thing by which we can understand it very easily or simply we can say.
Okay. 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 I think with that we
Yeah.
have come to half of our questions. So, and we should conclude this episode. So I think we have so far discussed just to conclude, we have so far discussed what is dosha, how you
Mhm.
can understand it in the modern day like life, and how to assess one's prakriti, as well as we whether the dosha is a fixed entity or it can change. And we have also talked about how dosha
Mm.
happens in our daily life, and how is dosha associated with our thinking. So I thank you, Dr. Ankit sir. But this is not the end for the this episode. I mean, the topic. We will be coming back with the second part of the same episode regarding doshas. As we said, though, that's not a small topic to
Thank you.
discuss about.
Thank you.
Okay. But before we go for this, thank you so much.
May this dosha be continued.
Thank you, doctor. Yes, may this dosha will continue. Okay, so we will be coming back with the discussion or the dive in the world to the world of doshas with our second episode or the part two of this episode. So please stay tuned for it. Okay, thank you.